In today's episode, we will learn to draw the flash. Here I'm laying in the figure very quickly, and you can see I'm just going over it in a little purple color here. This is on the iPad, and I roughed in I roughed in approximately what kind of pose I wanted him to have, and he's waving to us. So it's a very quick, rough lay-in. And I put in some shadows underneath him, shadows around him, fixed his head a little bit, and then I added color to the Flash figure. This is the old costume the Flash wore back in the 60s. I guess he wore it into the 90s and even now. Yellow boots, skin color, blue eyes. So now I have exported this figure into Adobe Photoshop Elements, and let's put a cleanup line on him. I start by adding layers, zooming in, figuring out what brush I like, and I chose a calligraphy brush to do the cleanup line. Just the outside cleanup line will be done with this calligraphy brush. And as you can see, it acts like a calligraphy pen. So you get some thin lines and fat lines depending on which way that you want the tilt. I didn't adjust the tilt. This is factory direct tilt. Now I was going to redo his hand, but then I decided, no, let's leave the hand the way it is. Now I'm looking for a different brush to do the rest of the lines, and I went just back to the basic brushes and a thinner line. So all the interior lines are a little bit thinner than the exterior lines as I go over his eyes here. And maybe I shouldn't have surrounded his pupil with a black line. I should have just left it a naked blue. And as you can see, I'm coloring in his mouth. Put in the symbol here, and little bits of detail had to go on. Here and there, things were added to make it look more like the Flash's old costume. And I believe, yeah, I did add some knee joints there. So then I brought up the opacity of the bottom layer all the way, and here's what it looks like as I go over the shadow. I didn't like the way that hand shadow was though, so I redid that. And start putting a little bit of shading underneath him. Go up a layer and take out that shadow altogether. So then I added some background, just darkening in the background. And I thought, well, he shouldn't just be against a stage, so let's put in some buildings of some kind behind him. But I guess he is operating in Central City. And this is what it looks like finished complete with color and background.